What is going on, everybody? Been a diehard Pistons fan since 2003, and it is safe to say basketball is back in the D. The Detroit Pistons, of course, will be kicking off their first playoff run in a very long time this weekend with a matchup against the New York Knicks. In this video, we are going to go through and just talk about a few of the things that are on my mind currently as we're leading up to the series. We're going to talk about Cade, his expectations for this series. We're going to talk about the playoff rotation, players whose minutes might be reduced now that we are into the playoffs. We're going to talk about the overall series dynamics and just who I think the X factors of the series will be. We will definitely be doing a game one preview, a game one recap, etc. on this channel as we have throughout most of the year for each individual game. But I just wanted to get a video out a few days before we even get the ball rolling here with all of that and just talk about what's on my mind currently as we're leading up to the series. So the first thing, number one on the bulletin board right now, is just everything surrounding Cade Cunningham. Of course, Cade has had an incredible breakout year for our Pistons this season. He has been absolutely incredible all season long, and particularly incredible against the New York Knicks in the 4 games we have played against them. He has had a great game every time he has played against the Knicks for a couple different reasons. Number one, the Knicks have not really sent bodies at Cade Cunningham throughout the regular season, and I'm curious to see if they stay stubborn in that game plan in the playoffs. I'm going to go ahead and assume not, but one thing I've noticed, if you're looking online, seeing what Knicks fans are saying, they think that OG Anunoby can stop Cade one-on-one, but we have a lot of proof on film that he cannot. So the only way that the Knicks are going to be able to slow down Cade is if they send multiple bodies at him and let other players on the team attempt to beat them, or Cade just doesn't live up to the expectations and hype that is surrounding him. Of course, myself personally, I've always believed in Cade. I did not waver on him at once over the last 4 years. So even if he has a bad series, I mean, yes, I'll be disappointed. I don't expect it, but that won't change what I think about him. But growing pains in this NBA does happen. A lot of players, great players, have been through them. So not trying to set the expectations too high, but I do believe that unless the New York Knicks come in with a completely different game plan about how they're going to guard him than what they showed us during the regular season, he will tear the Knicks apart. So that's really my thoughts on Cade right now. Biggest thing is he able to take his game even to a higher level in the playoffs? And what are the Knicks going to do to stop him? Because what they showed us during the regular season is not going to do anything to slow down Cade. So moving on, the other thing that is top of mind for me right now is just what is going to happen with the rotation. Throughout this season, JB Bickerstaff has done an incredible job, but he's also really played deep into the bench. Last year with Monty Williams, I was very much against how much he utilized the bench. He played all bench lineups constantly, and it cost us a bunch of games. So coming into this season, I really wanted JB Bickerstaff to trim up the rotation and maybe just go 8 deep, maybe go 9 deep. But that has not been the case. JB Bickerstaff has played 10 deep almost every game, even when injuries have arose. He has played a lot of different guys throughout the regular season, serious minutes in important games, and I do expect that to change a bit here come the playoff time. I know everybody knows, but once the playoffs roll around, you don't see guys like Cade Cunningham playing his regular 35 minutes a night. Cade will probably play 42 to 44 minutes per game. Tobias Harris, veteran leader on this team, I expect him to play 40 minutes a night. What I don't expect to change is the time split between Jalen Duren and Isaiah Stewart. I do not think that Duren's minutes will increase at all come playoff time, because I think that Stu just shows a different look that might even be better in this series than what Duren has to offer. So that's up in the air, but I do not expect to see the center rotation change a whole lot. But where we could potentially see some changes is with some of the bench guys and how many minutes they get. Number one on the list is Marcus Sasser. Marcus Sasser has been in and out of the rotation a couple times throughout the regular season. Towards the back half of the season, especially with Cade sitting out some games, he has played some extended minutes and has played great. But just considering that Cade's going to be getting that minutes bump almost certainly, I don't think Marcus Sasser is going to find his way onto the court a whole lot in this series. And I think another guy who is a big candidate to have his minutes reduced this playoffs is going to be Simone Fontecchio. I still believe in Simone Fontecchio, probably more than anybody else in this fan base, and I do think that he does have potential to heat up at any given moment, despite him not shooting the ball particularly well this season. But I just think that all things considered, he is going to be a guy who sees his minutes reduced. And towards the back half of the season, we already saw a little bit of that. JB Bickerstaff played Simone quite consistently throughout all of this year, but one of those last games, he played Simone only 5 minutes, and that was a little bit out of the ordinary and almost felt like some playoffs foreshadowing. The one guy who I have no idea what's going to happen with is Ron Holland, but we are going to get into him later when we talk about the X factors. Another thing that is top of mind right now for me is, can the Pistons steal game 1 or game 2 on the road? Because that will dictate how this series goes. Of course, in the NBA, the higher seed gives home court advantage, so that means game 1 and game 2 will be played at Madison Square Garden in New York. Game 3 and game 4 will be played here in Detroit. Game 5, if necessary, will be back in New York. Game 6, back in Detroit. Game 7 in New York. So the way that this normally goes in the playoffs is if you're the road team and you can steal game 1 or game 2 and flip home court, the entire series changes. So these first 2 games, it's going to be paramount for us to be able to get one of these wins if we do want to win this series. It is going to be a very tall task if we go out to New York, go down 0-2, and come back with that deficit and try and catch up. So I definitely don't want to be the guy who is doom and gloom, but if we don't steal one of these first 2 games, it's pretty darn unlikely that we'll win this series. So we really need to get out and get off on the right foot. There's really no question about that. So last but not least, the one last thing that's on my mind is who's going to be the X factor in this series. Every playoff series, there's somebody who isn't top of mind at the start of the season or start of the series that really swings it. It could be for one game that they swing, but sometimes one game swung is all that you need to win a series. I think there's 2 candidates for this. Number 1, it's Ron Holland, and number 2, it's Ausar Thompson. Reason being, guys like Ausar, guys like Ron, who are non-shooting wings, sometimes get played off the floor in the playoffs. We might see these guys get dared to shoot at a level that we have not seen in the regular season at all. It can be next level in the playoffs where teams just absolutely dare guys like Ron or Ausar to shoot the ball. But if that doesn't happen, maybe if they're able to knock down a couple shots and keep them honest, or JB's able to come up with some creative ways to get them involved in the offense where they don't have to be camped at the 3-point line, they could swing the series. Because when the Pistons are at their best, it's when Ron or Ausar, along with Beef Stew sometimes, or Jalen Duren, are forcing turnovers that are leading to fast break buckets, that's speeding up the pace of the game, and that's when we're at our best. We're at our best when we're out in transition, and Ron and Ausar are wreaking havoc. But ultimately, with their shooting concerns, things can get a bit dicey in the playoffs for any player that is of that mold. So they're going to be the X factors. If Ron and Ausar are able to keep themselves on the floor offensively in the half court, they could definitely swing this series and swing a game, just because defensively, especially Ausar, just next level. They could cause so many problems. They're going to have the best chance of shutting down Jalen Brunson. They're going to have the best chance of doing anything to slow down this Knicks offense. So I think ultimately that's what it's going to come down to. That's going to be a huge X factor. It's going to be really tough to win this series unless both Ron and Ausar are able to do what Ron and Ausar have done all season long to keep us competitive. So let me know what you guys think. We'll definitely be covering this series in depth on this channel. Once we get closer to game 1, we'll do a video preview on that game alone, game recap, etc. But I'd be curious to know what's on your mind leading up to this series. We've got a few days, so let me know what you think. We'll catch up soon.